Welcome to Comics Bazaar, the channel of comics commentary and arcana. This video features Longshot number 5 in a 6-issue limited series, so the penultimate chapter of this story, featuring the first appearance of Longshot and his introduction to the Marvel Universe. The cover here, very eye-catching, really great work by Arthur Adams, pencils and inks for this particular cover of Longshot versus his horrendously, monstrously grown, what he calls his puppy, but it is Gog and Magog, one of the creatures that has come from the Mojo verse to Earth and that has been feeding on magic, and that magic has been feeding his hatred of Longshot. And all through the different covers, he's been growing in the corner box, and here Longshot has his hand to his head in marvelment and bafflement at the size and attitude of his puppy. And really the design for this creature very much reminds me of the Jim Henson creature designs for, in particular, George Lucas's Industrial Lights and Magic, films such as The Dark Crystal, and of course Star Wars as well. Very much has that kind of style of creature design, like a horror movie version of the Muppets or Sesame Street. And I do like the bottom corner box as well here for the direct sales edition, where we get to see Arthur Adams' art, the inks for his art in black and white detail there. So let's open this one up to the splash page. This picks up from the cliffhanger at the end of the previous issue. This is in the Cloisters in New York, and the kids that Longshot has befriended have arrived there, and they are faced by this hugely, monstrously grown Gog and Magog. So in his dialogue there, he's talking about what has become of him. I'm a little stuffed right now. He has feasted on one of the security guards there that he's killed. But that won't keep us from having a good time, eh? He asks. I was a young pup myself once, but ever since Longshot tricked me to this world, I've been attracting its magics to me. They fill me up. I'm bloated with the power of your world, and somehow I'm still hungry. So he's ravenous. Longshot here thinking, a magic magnet? And so greedy, he's stealing all this world's magic. Geez, I could disappear. And we know that Doctor Strange is going to make an appearance in the course of this particular issue in connection with this whole magical business. So the title of the story is Deadly Lies, and the creative team down here, and Nocenti writer, Arthur Adams penciler, Whilce Portacio inker, and Joe Rosen letters, with Christy Shield doing the colours on this particular chapter. This little guy here, he's bought a gun with the money earned from the diamonds he sold that Longshot gave them. And is that gun going to go off is the question. So let's see here. You can see there's a lot of panels on these two pages here as Arthur Adams in the early phase of his career struggles a little bit to simplify his layouts and decide on the important action beats for a plot. There is only 24 pages in this issue. Some of the previous issues have run longer than 24 pages. So Longshot pushes the kids back in order to defend them, faces Gog and Magog by his lonesome, and says to him, they call me Longshot and claim I'm lucky. Is that the truth? My mind feels hollow. I've only the echo of memories. But you know, is this my planet? Am I? And then Gog interrupts him. You know this is the wrong planet. You know you don't fit in. Don't you feel alien? You're as weird as me, but who cares? Wake up, Longshot. This is a great place if you've got an appetite. And, well, you bug me. I stuck around to kill you. So here the kid is sneaking up with the handgun. He's aiming it there at Gog's back. And Gog is aware of it and knocks the gun out of his hand with his spiked tail. And this, of course, gets Longshot's ire. Hey, that's a child. You don't hurt children, he says. So here, this is an interesting little sequence. Doesn't need to be 3 tall vertical panels like that. Would one panel have done, made for a simpler layout? In any case, he leaps at Gog and Magog, but Gog and Magog is so strong here, he grabs him and pins him on the ground. He's angry. He says, I lost my home, my world began to grow into this monstrosity that is my body. You created my hate, he says to Longshot. It's your fault. You made me hate. Now take it back. So Longshot is thinking there. He's right. This mess is all my fault. I destroyed him. How can I blame him if he wants to destroy me back? So this is very much Ann Nocenti's style, thinking through the reasons why an apparent villain might act in a villainous way. Could there be mitigating circumstances? Could there be an explanation? Is the hero in some sense responsible? So that's very typical of her approach to these kinds of good versus evil stories. In the background, the kids are wondering what to do next, or whether Longshot is going to get up and fight. And then the scene switches to upstate New York and Ricochet Rita's house, and she has had unpleasant visitors in the form of Mojo and Spiral. And Mojo here is talking about, let's see, what's he talking about? He's saying here saying here to Ricochet Rita, I'll give you stone silent gravestone deadness, my designer genetically engineered slaves from one of our most ancient nightmarish mythological images. And now I find a whole stupid planet where you devils all actually exist. He's talking about like humans making our myths real. The slaves must never know. They'd feel real and might do something obnoxious, like want rights and freedoms. Don't you agree, Spiral? So this is part of the overarching theme of the series. How in Mojo world there are genetically engineered slaves like Longshot that were serving the spineless ones, and how, if they came to a world like Earth, he fears, and met actual humans, they might want to rise up and claim their freedom. So Spiral here, we haven't 100% learned her origin just yet. We'll find out more about her in the next issue. I'm one of those slaves, she says, Mojo, and you know it. I'll split from you and stay on this planet. I'll be free here. So what does Mojo have to say to that? Oh goody, you'll be such a hit with all those extra arms. They'll love you, probably give you your own cage. So Mojo mocking her and her monstrous appearance. Well, Ricochet Rita, he says, we can't let your pal Longshot get back to our dimension if his fellow slaves learned about this place. You tell me where he is, or Mojo, the life bringer, will make you young again. So he's being ironical. He's sapping the life force from her as she's prematurely aging there. Notice how her hair is going white, just like Spiral's. This is an interesting close-up on Mojo's maniacal face as well. Oops, he says here, mischievously. You seem to be going the wrong way. You're getting older. Oh well, what's a little baldness and flake? So that's interesting phrasing there that Nocenti's putting into his mouth. Now again, look at this page. Lots and lots of panels here. Really tall, narrow ones here as well. As Spiral does her dance and they go through this particular portal. Come, says Mojo. This won't hurt a bit. And poit, they're gone. And then we're back at the Cloisters in the middle of the page. So I sometimes wonder in these videos about scene switches in the middle of a page. Rather than a scene switch that begins on a new page. All of this comes down to Arthur Adams' decisions in the way that he was laying out the plot he received from Ann Nocenti. The Marvel style, or the Marvel method, was the method of composition of this miniseries. So here the kids are wondering about Longshot. The boy here says, hate to say it, but oh, Longshot's a chump. He's letting the demon beat him with words. So Gog and Magog is still admonishing and upbraiding Longshot. You can't let your past... he says there, you deserve to die. You won't fight back anyway. You're too selfish. You can't let your past die with me. Go ahead, get lucky, pull the odds your way and screw up somebody else. Your luck is your crutch. Use it. So Longshot ends up on his back on the floor there. Let's see, what is his decision? He's thinking the children are losing faith in him. The little girl who took a shine to him is losing her interest in him. I thought he was so brave, she thinks. Maybe he ain't so cute. Longshot is thinking there. Interesting spotting of blacks, interesting lighting of his face as well. I can't let them down, he thinks. They believed in me, but maybe Pup's right. I'm selfish. I must get my motives pure. He's evil and I've got to stop him for the good of the world and for the dreams of these children. So that's how his luck power works. When his motives are pure, when his heart is pure, he gets lucky. But it doesn't work out for him. So he runs in for the attack at Gog and Magog. And then look at this umbilical tongue that emerges from Gog's chest belly here. And it's got these spikes on it as well. And it grabs Mojo. Or sorry, not Mojo, but Longshot. And Gog there asks, so, why don't you still think we're friends? You're so weak. You still want us to kiss and make up? Well, you're not my type, but we do seem to be attached. There's a lifeline between us. Feel our unholy alliance, our fated connection. Notice too, on these pages, especially this one, no backgrounds. So Arthur Adams, once the location is established of the Cloisters, he's making the decision to speed up the process of producing the pages by dropping the backgrounds out. Just get a little bit of background here in some of these panels, but it's minimal. So interesting close up there, 3/4 profile upshot on Gog and Magog. He says, go ahead, kill me. He's mocking him. To kill me is to kill yourself. If I die, so also die your memories, your past, to never know who you are, your family, your lover, he teases. Don't you remember that you love someone very much? Forgotten her? And then there's your children. You never want to see them again? So is he telling the truth or is he lying? Well, we don't know yet. My children. Longshot there with his eyes open in wonder. Yes, I do. So now this claw pops out of Magog's fist, a bit like Wolverine in a way. And he, this is disgusting, like he slashes through the umbilical cord. Let me sharpen this a bit, he says, and cut you free. Freedom. It's what all you slaves want. You can have it because even separated, we're attached, connected forever. So this is all a little bit mysterious up to this point. And then Quark arrives. He was in the first issue. He's back now. Get up, Longshot, he says. Oh no, one of the demons I fought before. Maybe they'll kill each other, thinks Longshot. Oh yeah, he also appeared in issue number 3. So Gog recognizes him. Quark here says, my luck hasn't run out. Longshot, get up, you coward. Help me finish him off. Has he broken your will so easily? The kids there are urging Longshot to get up off the ground, but he's just sitting up against the wall. I can't kill my past. This is all my fault. I can't kill him, can I? So the kids are there, turning their back on Longshot. He didn't get up, chicken. He's no hero. And Longshot, just look at the way the panels there, these teeny tiny, these small panels on the bottom of the page. And then Longshot thinking, I know who he is. He thinks. So let's see. This page has interesting layouts, more or less all horizontal except for this 4th tier of panels. And again, not too much in the way of backgrounds, but there is perspective, a perspective grid he's using here on this first panel as they come out of the building. And the kids there are talking about Longshot, but the fight comes out into the park. This fight's between me and Longshot, Quark, says Gog and Magog. And the kids here watching the fight. The lead kid here, he's absent-mindedly hitting the other ones as he's getting so wrapped up in the fight in front of him. You know, there's a debate or a theme running through the series as well about whether TV and comics are bad for kids. And this is kind of playing around with that as well, with this kid getting so wrapped up in the fight. And this is interesting here. Gog and Magog seems to decapitate Quark, but it doesn't kill him. He says here, so you can discorporate, I can't hit you, but neither can you best me alone, run, hide. And Quark says, I'm not afraid, I'll be back. So that's pretty weird. And the kids here are starting to cry. Got whiners and sissies all around me, says this guy, but I had enough of monsters and heroes. Come on, let's go home. And then the scene switches to elsewhere. So it is the mystical dimension, a mystical dimension in which Doctor Strange is observing various things. He sees a portal open there, and he says he's observing these creatures from another dimension. There, they tried to leave. An arcane ritual. warps time and space but fails to create a doorway. Again, this time success for most. What manner of creatures are these? I've seen enough. So this is the events of issue number 1. Dr. Strange here saying, I'm quite drained from conjuring such complex spells. The orb of Agamotto has so generously allowed me to view the past, and as each sighting draws nearer to the present, I can only pinpoint the area, but I get a visceral sense of the evil involved in their rituals. The last portal opened north of New York City. More otherworldly beings entered this dimension a mere hour ago. That's a reference to Mojo and Spiral. Guard our home, Wong, says Doctor Strange. I fear our alien visitors mean to do this planet harm, but they've not prepared to meet Doctor Strange. Okay, so he's getting involved now. Okay, so all of this was observed in the Orb of Agamotto rather than Doctor Strange being in this weird dimension. And then outside the Cloisters, Longshot is walking by himself. Look, excuse me, look at all the thought balloons here. So he's lost heart, he's in despair, and he's ruminating on who he is, his past, does he want to know his past, and so on and so forth. In this panel, but why am I afraid of my past? Probably cause my past is rotten, he thinks, and I deserve the vengeance of demons. Look at this clutter I collect. Why? What clues does this junk offer? Why am I obsessed with the trinkets of this world, the frivolous, the meaningless? Did some junk have some meaning where I'm from? So look at all the different things he's got here. The most disturbing one is the doll with the chest wound. There's a Gumby there. Arthur Adams always works Gumby into his work in the 1980s at the very least. There's a sellotape there, a little robot, there's a golf ball, there's the diamonds, of course, a little, is that a Star Wars jet there? Is it an X-Wing or something like that? Interesting, like what's in his pocket. And keys as well. As if objects had answers, he thinks. I know the answers. I've lost my luck, my faith, my friends, a displaced nobody, heartbroken and homesick for a world I can't even remember. This is a nice panel there. Interesting page. A Longshot in despair. And now look at this. Look at the inventiveness on these 2 pages. So this is Mojo, Spiral, and Ricochet Rita, and this is where they've gone on the other side of that portal. So look at this wooden ship that's sailing these trans-dimensional seas. And this is what Mojo exclaims. Blind your gravestone eyes on this, Ricochet. Too many dimensions here, it crosses the eyes. I wonder, have they heard of me in this one? Where is their antennae to the gods? I need to pontificate. Oh, to be so encumbered by a cumbersome destiny such as mine. Listen, what's that whispering? They clamour for me. They insist on my seed. This is really interesting dialogue from Nocenti. So I think like the series and this issue in particular is very wordy. It's prolix, but I do think that some of what she's doing here works very well. Spiral says maybe what some readers will be thinking, must I listen to your power-mongering psychobabble? Mojo tells her to be silent or I'll resculpt your tongue. Now, Ricochet Rita, when your eyes are ravaged and your soul screams itself inside out, then perhaps you'll start talking or I'll smash you oblique. So they want to get the location of Longshot from her, and Spiral lashes her here to the prow of this trans-dimensional ship. So we get a reverse view of the ship. Reminds me of the ship in Time Bandits, again a 1980s film. Interesting stuff by Terry Gilliam. There's that kind of atmosphere, that filmic atmosphere. George Lucas, Jim Henson, and Terry Gilliam. That's what I'm getting in this particular issue. So I think this is, who's saying this? Symbiosis? We got it, Spiral. Oh, it's Mojo. Your freak magics and my sublime ones intertwined to open time-space, twisted, linked and twisted. I linked with you. How did that happen? You pagan freak with your synthetic origin, your plebeian seed, your ignoble conception. Spiral, who twisted us together? All twisting is done by Mojo. Him, but I did it. How brilliant. We better stop in on Major Domo and get your brain screws loosened, Mojo, says Spiral. Spiral, would you care to replace Ricochet as navigator? Go see to her. So this is all implying something about a connection between Ricochet, Rita, and Spiral. Spiral here with this dark silhouette on her face, the eyes and mouth in this wicked smile. She says she screams in joy, so much joy, not a sound she utters. Silent screams? Asks Mojo. Perfect, she must be in love with me already. Spiral, do I own this dimension? Spiral responds, yes, you own all you look at. Then let us look at everything. Rita says she wants to see it all. So this is wild stuff on these pages. It's interesting, it's intriguing, but it doesn't make sense. It's teasing in terms of what on earth is going on, what's the connection between Mojo, Spiral, and Ricochet, Rita. And then we're back on Earth in New York with Longshot, and he's still down in the dumps. He's thinking to himself here, maybe I should start by reading the origins of others, like in terms of how to find out about himself. I'll read this statue. Its creator so proud he formed beauty where there was nothing, so familiar. Back must run back to the beginning, before beauty, when there was nothing. Even if I find him, why should he speak to me, a nobody, my creator? Barren bogs and ink lagoons that could sink armies. The land's getting belligerent, dangerous. So it seems he's remembering himself. In Mojoverse, again, we get these very thin panels here, thin vertical panels, even a split here with this butterfly fluttering and Longshot greeting it. And then it starts, the sound effects change from fluttering to whirring and a click as well. Excuse me. And Longshot is surprised by it. You're mechanical. Look at the intricate motor, he says. So real yet not real. Fake like me in my mind, or so the only ones tell us. So real yet fake. Is there really a difference? So that's a theme also of the series. The real, the true, the false, the fake, the simulacrum that Nocenti's working in to the themes and subtext of things. So Longshot here wondering, I exist, I think, I feel, isn't that alive enough? Should it even matter to me if they tell me I'm not real? Does it matter to you? And this kind of like fairy creature says something in a strange language there, which is interesting. And that takes him by surprise. I've never seen such beauty, the mind that imagined all this. So who is the creator of everything here? And then this is weird. This is like we're going into Alice in Wonderland or something like that. This creature here, very strange, says, can I be of help? And Longshot replies, yes, I heard a rumor. I'm following a dream. Wonderful, go on, says the creature. I heard of a man who taught all men how to walk, who built my world, and perhaps he even built me. And the creature says, you think someone built you? An exquisite creature such as you? My friend, if you didn't already exist, you could never be imagined. And then there emerges this figure, Arise. And he says, oh yes, you're one of my design, all right. I know you well. Longshot feels his touch to be gentle. You create, he asks. Yes, I create. I've just the proper temperament, impatience for the way things are, and an angry desire to make them better. You see, the proper combination of irreverence and rage makes for a great inventor, although it does nothing for one's modesty, he says. And Longshot asks, so you created me, my creator? Oh, I feel like I've met. And Arise says, how flattering, but don't say it. Adoration is unnecessary. Why have you sought me out? I'm a slave, we're all slaves, and we need your help. So, like there's a kind of like a Judeo-Christian subtext to this as well that is playing around here. I'm also thinking of Blade Runner, the original film too. Again, like the 1980s kind of film influences going on here, but with the Christian, Judeo-Christian, but especially Christian subtext. Look at this page. Look at the layouts here. These are truly teeny tiny panels. So really Arthur Adams struggling to visualize the plot here. There's a lot of detail here. I can't go through it all. And this is the key point here. They wanted weapons, these people that turned to arise to create things. Galaxy-spanning super weapons of destruction. So the spineless ones. They were asking for suicide and I refused. They turned me out. Now I build only the frivolous, the amusing, the beautiful. Nothing of purpose or meaning. I have a passion for trinkets. And I've done what I can. Now it is your turn. All you slaves must rebel. And Longshot replies, but I can't, I'm just a nobody. And Arise says, yes, but in you there is the possibility for miracles. They lied to you, you weren't built, you were genetically engineered, and I should know. You are living, breathing creatures as real as they. Know that, and the rest will follow. So Longshot pulls his hand away from the stone. Reading the stone and the pride of the sculptor led to that unlocked series of memories, but he's there musing. What did all that mean? What happened? Did I lead a rebellion? Did it fail? What went wrong? I must have made a big mess and left it, ran away. I must get back. Ricochet Rita, she'll help. She lives up north. If I start running now, I'll make it by dark. So the mysteries continue. Much later, as the sun sets, he jumps through the window of Rita's destroyed apartment, and inside he finds Doctor Strange. So Doctor Strange came on the trail of the two transdimensional arrivals in the previous hour, and he says here, all living things, the plants, the grass and trees outside have been drained of energy. And Rita asks Longshot, Rita, a girl? No girl here, says Doctor Strange. Judging from all the barrels, footballs and spears lying around here, I took this to be the home of a man? Yeah, Rita, says Longshot. Yeah, because Rita was a bit of a tomboy, a stunt actor. Hey, shut off the light, he says. And it is, excuse my presumption, but I must determine the nature of your being, says Doctor Strange. You are what you seem to be and more. I would like to examine you further someday. I'm Doctor Strange. So he's using his third eye to determine whether Longshot is good or evil or whatever else. And he's satisfied in that regard. And he says here, by surveillance of the myriad dimensions, I detected several time-space shifts in the multiverse. The last such disturbance was here, where some ungodly manner of creature entered this, our world. What do you know of this young man? So Longshot is all hesitant, but he starts talking about the creatures he dragged with him there. And he's saying, don't you understand? Rita will never return here. She has no future. She must be... and Doctor Strange says, we don't know that, but I must go save Rita. So he's determined to save Rita, but also he says, I'll take you to Gog, but don't kill him. I own that. And Doctor Strange doesn't give a guarantee. He says, we shall see. Asks him his name. Longshot says, Longshot, curious, thinks Doctor Strange. Well, Longshot, have you ever teleported before? Prepare yourself. This is what you must do when we arrive. Okay, let's see. Oh, yeah. So, in the darkest dark of the cloisters. This is a nice and interesting double-page spread here. So, Arthur Adams doing some work there on the background there, probably using photo reference for the cloisters. Great lighting there on Gog and Magog. Of course, we have the anchor image here. It's basically this that gives us our cover idea. I like this close-up on Gog and Magog's tooth and eye there as well. Longshot. He thinks, he'll find me, I'll consume his magic too unless he releases me. He's here. So they've arrived through the transdimensional portal. Longshot insisting that Doctor Strange doesn't kill Gog and Magog. And Doctor Strange says, but he's beyond salvage. The danger is great. He cannot wield such power. It wields him. And Longshot thinks, This looks like maybe there was a little bit of photo reference used here. I can't help kill him, he thinks. He was my friend. He knows who I am. So he calls out to him. No, can't get selfish. Strange said to keep Gog busy so he could weave his spells. I've got to do it. So they fight here, but Longshot manages to escape being crushed to the floor. And then Gog and Magog is going mad here. Kill me, he says. Kill your past, kill yourself, you cowardly simpering. So good, it's pathetic. Do you remember yet how hated you are? So Doctor Strange gets involved using his magic power there. And Gog here is thankful. Thank you kindly, O magician. Feed me more of your delicious magic. And he's got more of these limbs popping out. 2 more here. Is this like a little clue regarding Spiral and her command of magic? This is an interesting panel with Doctor Strange levitating there and these designs for the spells that he's casting. I'll feed you, he says to Gog. I'll give you exactly what you want. Hold the hunger demon, hold the power. So Longshot is bouncing around, attacking Gog, distracting him. Gog says to him, you're not lucky because you're going to kill yourself. That's interesting. I don't care, says Longshot. So here we have an interesting set of layouts on the diagonal here, conveying the dynamism of what's going on. Doctor Strange is filling Gog full of magic. He's still hungry, he says there, and Longshot throws one of his flechettes at him. Goodbye, memories, he says. Goodbye, pup. Here comes your last meal. So it bursts his belly and he explodes. That's good. These are a nice couple of pages here, but again, pay attention. You see, there's no backgrounds. So Arthur Adams trying to get to the end of this plot in the 24 pages. Lots of panels on these last couple of pages here as the chapter's wrapped up. Longshot says, he's gone. How do you feel? Asked Doctor Strange. Like I lost something. He was my buddy. He even saved my life once. I thought the good in him could be salvaged, made stronger. Doctor Strange says, that's quite unrealistic, but perhaps something quite astonishing could result. Many arcane principles of magic are based on just such a ratio between the real and the ideal. If one focused on the ideal, perhaps he could make the ideal happen. So, Longshot is an idealist. What if he had magic enough to bring the ideal about? Seems to be the implication of Doctor Strange's speech there. Now Quark arrives again. And Longshot asks him, who are you? He introduces himself. He says, we're from the same side of the tracks. Longshot asks, can you help me sort out all the lies? And Quark says, well, you were created to be a slave. But as you can see from the men on this planet, Longshot interjects, yes, there is a race of man here and they're free and they're not slaves. That's why my mind was wiped to rid it of dangerous knowledge. And that's why they chased me here. Yes, says Quark. They had to suppress him. He was special. Some said miraculous. And Doctor Strange makes the point, and they suppressed his Messiah complex as well. But I fear it is returning. So here is, God was saying, you don't remember that you were hated. And this is Nocenti playing around with the idea of a Messiah not necessarily being a good thing entirely. And Doctor Strange here talking about the Messiah complex, maybe the idealist overriding how will I put this, like other people's kind of decisions and freedom in the pursuit of an ideal. Is that what she's getting at here? Something like that, perhaps. So interesting layout on this page, tall vertical panels and one final horizontal panel. Longshot says, I tried to wake up my people, but they were all asleep from slavery. But now, if only they could see this planet's men, I must get back, he says. What about the entities that came through, asked Doctor Strange. Quark says, most of them went back through a portal. Gog and Magog stayed to have some private revenge. I stayed to make sure Longshot was the victor. Doctor Strange says, but there is one last being, perhaps two, who entered this dimension mere hours ago. And this is about Rita, of course. And so Quark here is thinking, oh, this is 2 panels here in this vertical. Doctor Strange says, we will track them through my mystical powers or whatever. And Longshot says, no, I have my own ways, my luck. Quark says, Longshot the demon didn't always lie. Our luck is fickle. It has a flip side. This is interesting. We call on a force that suspends the laws of probability for us. We ask that force to ignore all other possibilities and just do for us just what we need. There may be a backlash effect, repercussions. You've been forcing your luck pretty hard. Again, this is a split panel here. I see, says Doctor Strange, tipping the cosmic scales. There may be an equal and opposite effect elsewhere. Bad luck. I know you don't want to hear it, Longshot, says Doctor Strange, but perhaps your luck can turn on you. Use a force and it forces you. I don't care, exclaims Longshot. I can't hide from my past anymore, and I can't keep stumbling along, leaving messes in everyone's life. I've got to clean up after myself, and I've got to do it my way. So there we go. There is a lot packed into this issue, the 24 pages. So many words. I do think in time, Ann Nocenti, particularly on her Daredevil run with John Romita Jr., was able to scale back the words, all those words, and do cleaner, tighter plots. Also, you know, like the advantage of working with someone like John Romita Jr. at that point in his career is that he's like an exemplary, masterful storyteller, whereas Arthur Adams is learning his trade here in respect of storytelling in this series. And some of the sequences work very well, and others you can see that he is, you know, struggling a little bit to tell the story smoothly and with less panels for sure. Next, Gala double-sized last issue. So in effect, with the first issue being extra long and the last issue being extra long, this is almost like an 8-issue miniseries. You know, if every issue was only 22 pages long, this could come out at 8 issues. Gala double-sized last issue with Spiral, Mojo, Ricochet, Rita, Doctor Strange, and the whole sick crew. There you go. So I do hope that you enjoyed this review and commentary on Longshot, issue number 5. Let me know your thoughts on this one in the comment section. If you enjoyed my review and commentary, please like and share the video. It really does help the channel. If you haven't done so already, subscribe to the channel and stay tuned for more content like this.